So, particulars of hypnotizing someone is to trick them and to make them believe that you are not going to do some harm to them, that is going to be for the purpose of something else, not relating to hypnotizing you and taking advantage of you. So, if we watch the movie Get Out, it's really a documentary, and you need to see that they explain there quite plainly that they do hypnosis, and that's how they do this organ transplantation business, and that human organs and human blood contains the spirit of a person, and human organs like brain contains their consciousness. So anyways, when we talk about Get Out movie, you will see that this woman, first of all, she has curly hair, so it's something like spiral. Then she has this particular jewelry, and she has a cup, and the cup has a certain ornament on them. And then she also has the ring, which we cannot see here. But what she starts to do is she starts to spin the tea by the spoon. So she makes this circle motion, and then in the end, she does this knocking onto the cup. This will be like ding, ding, which is also like a gong, which is also a sound by which they will put you in trance state. Also, she says, under pretext that she wants to make him get rid of smoking, she did something else to him, and that is she wanted to extract his organs. When she was talking about hypnotizing him in order for him to quit smoking, she started to talk about his mother. So the mother was some key word that opened some door into his subconsciousness state. And this was because this was a deeply traumatic event for him of losing his mother. That was a huge emotional feedback for him. Now I wanted to show you this 60 minutes Australia episode, and this is about, again, the user some stuff that doesn't exist. And let's watch the method of hypnosis. So in this video you will be able to see when they try to convince you of something. In this case it's super bugs. They use the ball, and the ball has spears, and the ball is spinning. So this spinning ball is meant to cause you to go into a trance mode. It's like a hypnotist will openly use this pendulum in front of you, like take some kind of necklace, and it would fling from right side to the same effect is received from spinning ball. That's why before they show you the news, they tell you they tend to show you all these spinning balls. It's like our planet is a spinning ball. They have to use some excuse, but in general, what each person needs to understand is that this thing they show on the screen, that it doesn't exist. And when they show you this spinning thing and then they read the text to you from the script, it's just to make it bypass your critical thinking, your consciousness, and get right into your subconsciousness, so that something would be as a you belief system, not as some critical analyzed knowledge that you came to as a conclusion by yourself, but rather something they hypnotized in you.
And antibiotics. This is a
So this whole thing is meant to just hypnotize you, the same way that each person who has cancer is explained that you have this disease because your DNA has broken something in a -9 degree size, and sooner that some part of this chain, and while telling you all of this ridiculous stuff, they will show you a spinning spiral. So this spiral is also a trance trigger. That's why when they say DNA, they always make this spiral image in your head. So any one of these so-called scientists, whistleblowers, who says they gonna tell you the truth about something, and they will use the terms like bugs, superbugs, virus, DNA, they are all liars. They are servants of reptiles, and they just pathologically lie to you. So this creature Blinken is Ukrainian of Ukrainian origin, and each time Ukrainian is put at the head of the state, the country gets like really, really broke, and they destroy the whole economy. You see, like he has a mouth like he's a woman, like his gender not conformant, and these disgusting repulsive noses that they have, and a solid black eyes. So and this is this English freak. These are basically them that stand behind all these poisons and diseases that plague the world. Let's see. In July last year, he blamed the poor for contracting COVID-19 after questions about why the least well-off have doubled the COVID-19 death rates of the richest in society. In August, Bethel, who was privately educated at Harrow, told students not to worry about bad A levels results because fluffing his own exams taught him how to hustle. This specimen of hundreds of years of inbreeding is a hereditary peer who has a job for life, being paid £385 for every time he attends the House of Lords, travel expenses, and subsidized restaurant facilities. His salary as a junior health minister is £70,969, 3 times what a newly qualified NHS nurse can earn. In the past, he has been chief executive officer of Westbourne Communication, a big public affairs agency whose clients have included the fracking company Kontrol. As such, the agency boasted about its tactics to counter anti-fracking activists. So Bethel is Minister of NHS Test and Trace set up by Johnson as part of his response to COVID-19. He stepped into this in March 2020 in what the Times called a surprising appointment. In 2019, he had supported Man Hancock's campaign for leadership of the Tory party. So their names are also coded like Baron Bethel BB Bethel Matt Hancock for leadership of the Tory party, handing him 5,000 donations. He himself appointed advisors like the lobbyist George Posco, Watson and Krigsus, who made this fucking DNA theory, whose client includes the Boston Consulting Group, which won several big government contracts during the pandemic. Senior members of Bristol Consulting Group are being paid $6,000 a day for apparently working to improve the test and trace project. So this is like surveillance project. The Guardian: UK cat cull was considered early in COVID crisis, ex-minister says. James Bethel says government considered whether all pet cats might have to be put down to contain virus. The UK government considered whether it might have to ask people to exterminate all pet cats during early days of COVID pandemic, former health minister said. It's incredible. It's incredible what they do to our pets. It's incredible what they are extremely sick in their heads because of their inbreeding. Their instinct don't work right. Like, you're not supposed to fuck the members of your family. You are supposed to find somebody who is like opposite to you. So they do all the opposite to what is natural for a human being to do. They fuck their own family members and their own children. And how I don't understand how you make population kill their pet cats. It's just I don't know how you have to, how low you must think of your own population that you're supposed to serve as a civil servant, that you actually want to push them to kill your own cats. So this video that I showed you was, of course, fake Ukrainian reading from the script, or he learned the script by heart. Of course, he was not robbed by anybody. He just exploits all these racial insecurities, stereotyping, and it's another Sandy Hooker who wants to frame someone who they see as threat, and they want to ban Second Amendment, disarm American people, because when you hear the text, you have to break it down and you have to pay attention to the repeated phrases. Those things that they are repeat are very important to them, because when they repeat something, it's them hypnotizing you. So what he repeated was, black man with a gun, it's so scary. Black man with a gun, it's so scary. Black man with a gun, it's so scary. As you can see that these Sandy Hookers, they did the same. They framed autistic children as somebody who is serial killers, but of course these Sandy Hookers are alive and well. And when he was talking about his daughter Emily, and this has something to do with the moon, and this is kind of a trans trigger word, and in this Sandy Hook event they used the names that are trans triggers to a certain population, and those names were basically biblical names, like Emily, Emmanuel. There was also Noah and other Bible names, and like he was saying something like, she was drawing the owl with the crayons. So drawing the owl, your subconsciousness will read as drawing the law. So they wanted to push the law that bans guns. And as you can see, there is this brick on the background, which is trans trigger, and 522. So 522 is something that is 5 means change in this numerology language. You can look up these angel numbers, and 22 it means something like in a justice system. And Newton is somebody who, Newton was the scientist who made the laws of physics. He considered himself to be Messiah, by the way. And so basically the characters, so the text of this event was written by AI, so they have certain software that can program the scenario of these events, and they use certain trance trigger to hypnotize. And in this case with Sandy Hook, it was catered to people who have this Bible in their belief system, which is also the Bible, the Quran, and the Jewish scripture. They have these similar names to them, so this can be useful to them. That would be for those who are Christians, Jewish, and even Muslims. And there was, of course, that character called Noah. So Noah Posner. Then Noah Posner allegedly died, and then they have this character. They use the same photo as a victim, alleged victim, when they made this fake shooting event on other side of the world in Muslim country in Peshawar, Pakistan. So there was another school shooting in Pakistan, Peshawar, and this time around Noah was no longer a Jewish boy, he was a Muslim. And of course, then there was this story with Alex Jones, and Alex Jones is also a creature in one of them. He is a CIA agent. And of course, nobody would laugh at this like this and have his face red. And I think he has some kind of a pleasure to have this attention like these Ukrainians have, like when they bare their chest. And I think he jizzed in his pants, this CIA employee or whoever he is. He's in the Navy, or Scientology, Mormon offshoot cult, one of Mitt Romney's. And yeah, nobody would laugh when his daughter was just shot. And those kids, they had to be very young, because otherwise when they grow up it kind of shows that they are ugly, hideous, and inbred. They were photographed at the Super Bowl alive and well. You see, they have even vampire teeth. They look like they are evil. And yeah, basically this is her, Olivia, when she's 11, I think, or 12 here, allegedly killed when she was 5. Disgusting, repulsive creatures. Like, they are hideous. There is something really wrong with them. Look at this one. Disgusting. They look really slow. Look at that. It just repulses me when somebody has no eyebrows, no eyelashes, and like their eyelashes and eyebrows are white. Disgusting. And the hand sign, demonic hand sign. And then I think there was another girl, Ellison Wyatt or something like that. She was very cute, but it was somebody else's picture stolen. And then this character Noah, he resurrected as somebody named Kyle Rittenhouse. So he became Kyle Rittenhouse, and they openly admitted that he has a twin, a sister, a twin, because these creatures, they come from the lab, and these IVF creatures, they tend to have this twinning in them, because they implant several, up to 6 embryos, and then one embryo eats another one inside the womb. Because in general they use frogs' eggs to activate the sperm when they do fertilization in the lab. And frogs are reptiles, and they tend to be these predator species. Anyways, then there was this Naira Kuwaiti girl testimony that said that they took babies out of incubators. These were Iraqi soldiers, and she was a nurse, and took the incubators. They let those children to die on the cold floor. They threw them. Because people, when they hear about little babies, pregnant women, they cannot think critically, and they get really traumatized. And that's part of their black ops, and they like to use all these symbols to like put signature on themselves. Like this was taken from Bucha. So allegedly, when she was alive, this person Filkina in Bucha massacre, she had a heart drawn on her, and it was pink heart. And when it became a dead body, it had her finger turned upside down, and it turned into black, although it had been pink. So it would be this ace of spades. Ace of spades is a symbol that means death. And there was also this hand fasting in Bucha with white bands. And this is, of course, it's a hand fasting, it's a marriage ritual. It's a Scottish, etc., Celtic ritual, hand fasting. So they tried to program marriage with death. This was the ritual. And then there was this Mariupol maternity ward allegedly bombing by the by Russian aviation, but of course it never happened. And there was this actress, as you see that she's here playing, having this symbology of Shiva Nataraja, which is also in front of the statue, in front of Hadron Collider in Switzerland. And these hookers, they like to spread their legs a lot, even when they are pregnant. Like nobody normal would spread their legs and post on Instagram their photos like that. And then she played several characters. She played 3 people, and this alleged maternity ward bombing. When she holds a doll. Then there was this this one that allegedly died, that was on a stretcher with fake blood all over her. Do you see? That's also her, this creature, but she put something on her makeup and so on to make her hair look darker and so on. And as you can see that on the background there is something like in a color of Russian flag, and here she has this watermelon. So watermelon is a symbol of pregnancy. So they, in order to put people in trance, they like double. They double take on a symbology, and these are Jungian archetypes, and if you look it up, what a dream about buying watermelon means. If a woman bought a watermelon in her dream, the most popular interpretation of coming pregnancy. The interpretation of the dream, watermelon, for women, pregnancy, for men, sorrow, for girls, cheating. If a woman sees a watermelon in a dream, then soon she can get pregnant. Watermelons symbolize love, life and love, abundance and fertility, and were popularly used in Mexico's Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, celebration imagery and altar offerings. Many Mexican artists chose the subject, honoring folk culture tradition that saw fecundity and promise in the big red fruit. So anyways, as you can see, Ace of Spies, and this is about English Secret Service that stands behind all these events, and they always try to frame somebody else, like this thing like Madeleine McCain. These two siblings, they screw each other, English siblings, and of course that Madeleine McCain was not her daughter, but because they are siblings who screw each other, they look alike. So the child looks like them, but her mom is somebody else. Her mom is this one. This is the mom of Madeleine McCain and the twins. She just sold her children to them. And but this is how you make these children look like their parents. And they admitted that they made these kids in the lab, that they are IVF, by the way, and that they are swingers. It was open information. And also, when they did this to the child, when she was sacrificed on the Beltane, the 1st of May, the same thing they did in Odessa, Ukraine. They burned people alive at the trade union house on the 2nd of May because it was some kind of sacrifice ritual for this what is a tradition in Great Britain. And when they did all that, they framed Germans. For some reason, Germans is something that they hate and they want to destroy. So just the same way they framed autistic people in Sandy Hook event, the same way they tried to frame brown people, that same way they tried to frame Germans. So they said that the murderer of this girl was somebody named Christian Bruckner, and Christian and Bruckner is a typical German names. It's archetype, and from now on, people will think that Germans are pedophiles and they are killers of children, you know, when in reality this was them or some aristocrat that they don't want to talk about, they have had orgy with. So in any case, when this Noah creature, he was also, when he became old, he resurrected as a character called Kyle Rittenhouse. So he used to be Jewish, then he became Muslim boy in a Peshawar shooting, and then he became Kyle Rittenhouse. And this was this Uvalde event where these names, archetypical names, were used, the collective symbology. So for them it was something that was meant for those who believe in this runic, Scandinavian, German tradition. So all the names in this Uvalde shooting event were something like related to the heritage of Dutch, Germans, and that runic symbology that would be catered specifically for people of that heritage and the belief system. And all of this time, when this Noah Posner case was, especially with Alex Jones, you never saw the mother, you never heard of the mother of this child. And this is because the mother, as it became known after this Kenosha Kyle Hobart Rittenhouse. So Kyle Rittenhouse is something German. Uvalde, Kenosha. So this is Noah Posner, who died at Sandy Hook allegedly. And this is the mother who showed up at the Kyle Rittenhouse court case. You see, they didn't want to show this mother because it would attract attention to that Sandy Hooker event. Because you can see that she's inbred and there is some kind of a neurological degenerative disease to her. She looks like midget, but I don't think she is. Or like some midgetry in her was treated. Because they all look so hideous because they are inbred. And so you cannot tell me that it's normal to look like that. And kiss your own child or your own cousin or sibling. They all have these repulsive noses. And of course, when you are sick like that, you are mixed with some animal or something, and you have all these unhealthy instincts. Like, I have traveled, I saw what English people look like. This thing is not, I don't think it's English. Just look at its nose. It looks like it's mixed with some bird or something, some lizard. And In fact, when you really talk about them and how they are created, Project Chatter, Project Often, Derby Head, Third Chance, Chickweed, Mac Delta, QK Hilltop, Documented Bluebird, Artichoke, MK Ultra Institution. So they use to poison people. They use all kinds of poisons from the reptiles, and like snake poison is how they get uranium and other heavy metals like mercury from bats, period blood, and they also have organophosphates, which is like a skin or bone material. Bones is something that glows in the dark, especially when it starts to transmute, like when a body starts to disintegrate in the soil under the ground. So there are all these black vipers, mamba, and there was this portrait of Queen Elizabeth of England, and she was holding a flower in her hand, but it turned out that she didn't really hold the flower, that somebody drew a flower on top what had been drawn there, and she was holding this poisonous viper black mamba snake in her hand for reals. And you see that it's like she's holding a flower and somebody erased this snake in her hand. So this is taken from Concealed and Revealed, the changes faces of Elizabeth I. This was and look at the decorations of her on her hand. It also shows the reptile, and there are some kind of eyes on her dress. So they try to hint that they have relation to reptiles. And there is our human ears and eyes shown. Somebody's heart. They have been doing this transplantation business for a very long time. So when you wonder what is this thing about, like you probably heard that they are planning this war in with China for 2025. So this is going to be about this Taiwan. This is how it starts. But really those territories like Taiwan and South Korea, especially South Korea, if you travel there, you wonder why is it so like super duper advanced, and they will tell you that they need this territory like Taiwan or this South Korea part because there are like these metals, precious metals in their soil that they need for their software and different programming devices, but it's all bullshit. When you are going to travel to this South Korea and Taiwan, it's just this total surveillance country, and this is because they use part of their population as organ donors, and when they sell them around, they like want to have full control for what they eat, what they like, what their diet is, where they go. And it's like they can observe their future organ carrier in the real time. Like, for example, you can buy a human being and they didn't even know that you bought them, that they were bought for organ donorship. And this is because these particular nations, like Korean, those who live in Taiwan, they are most suitable for these rich old white people as organ donors, because at some point they discovered that Japanese live longer and they have this healthy diet, and they decided to cultivate particular nations. And it's really weird how they have this only like 5 family trees, and most of people have similar surnames there, like in Korea, South Korea, like Yum or something like that. So everywhere you go there are these surveillance cameras, and you can make no mistakes. Like they even have these toilets that are going to clean you up, warm you up, super super high-tech toilets that are specifically catered so that you won't get any infection from the toilet, and in case you need some kind of a penis or balls transplant. So these type of nations, as they discovered, uh, carry something in them, in their genes, that when they transplant their organs, um, they don't get rejected by these old white people. So they have something particular about them that there is no like allergic reaction to the donor's organ, and the organ is not rejected.